Welcome in A to Z Sports Prime Time on this Sunday night, September the 22nd. Dare I ask, how's morale? How are we feeling out there? I don't know. I don't know what the vibes are tonight. Well, I know what the vibes are tonight. The vibes are sad boy. Sad boy football is what we're talking about. Again, I see a lot of Eric Alonso says Buck is eating pizza with a fork right now. That sounds better than what I just spent my Sunday doing, which is watching your football team flounder about. It was not even floundering about. Like today was just a straight up ass kicking. They got blown out by Malik Willis and the Green Bay Packers. And it's not the most humiliating loss that the Tennessee Titans have ever suffered, but it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad what this football team has done here today or what they have not done through the first three games. And so we're going to talk about it. We're going to have to talk about it all season long. I don't want to do draft talk in September, but you're threatening me with it, and I don't feel good about that at all. We have a lot of things that we need to dive into because today, 30-14 at the hands of Malik Willis. Malik Willis, who listen, I swear to God, I didn't lie to you guys. That person was not an NFL caliber quarterback for 3 years. Here, all of a sudden, he's setting career highs in passing, rushing, and in scoring. I don't even know where to begin. Well, I do know where to begin with you guys. We'll start the show, and then we'll see where this lazy river of nonsense takes us here tonight, because damn, if that is not a brutal way to lose a football game. So, as you guys start to trickle in, obviously we're going to talk about this game. Share the show around so all of your sad boy Titans friends can commiserate and suffer together. Whether you are hanging out on Twitter, Facebook Live, YouTube, or Twitch, please retweet the show in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Facebook Live, you can sharing out of public. That's in the bottom left. YouTube, Twitch, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and you can get in on the action there. Rishi says, kudos to J-Rob. No, that's what I'm not going to let you do tonight. You don't get to blame Ryan Tannehill. You don't get to blame John Robinson. You don't get to blame Mike Vrabel, because that is not their team anymore. In fact, this is an entirely new collection of cast and characters, almost entirely new collection of cast and characters, and you do not get to point the finger of blame at a person who has not been on this job for over 2.5 years. At this point, they still haven't broken through 17 points per game. In fact, they scored 14 today, which has brought their season total points per game average down to 16, which means that this offense is a 1.5 game worse per game than Todd Downing and Tim Kelly at their worst. All right, that's the kind of crap that we're sitting here and stewing on right now. So share the show around, and then we'll go ahead and get this show started, because I got a lot of things to get off my chest. And I said this today. I'm not spending 3 hours of radio on these sad boys tomorrow. Absolutely not. I refuse. I will not do it. The Tennessee Vols won a huge football game in Oklahoma over the weekend. I'm going to do 10 minutes of sad boy radio tomorrow, and then I'm talking about the Vols. But here we talk Titans. So if you want your Titans fix, if you're a sicko that way, don't worry. I've got you all season long. Let's get into it. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time from the Zen Sports Studios. I'm your host, Buck Rising. I'm proud, as always, to be presented to you by the fine people at Two Rivers Ford. Unlike your football team, they never let you down. Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. Of course, TrueMav Fitness, where you are going to get the best workout in Middle Tennessee. No workout ever recycled or repeated at TrueMavFitness.com. And Zen Sports. If you took my best bet today, if you bet the over in Titans Packers, you cashed in. You can bet on all your favorite major sports, including the football, even if you're betting against your favorite team, because I'm sure many of you are going to be doing that moving forward. You can bet it in the Zen Sports app. Promo code ATOZTN is how you get in on all the action. Okay, so this is going to be a therapy session, and I'm sure that a lot of you guys have things to get off your chest. Here's the thing, all right? So Malik Willis starts this game. Titans win the coin toss for the first time this season. They defer. So it's Malik Willis and the offense up first. And what does Malik Willis do? He marches them down the field 6 plays, 70 yards, 2 completions of 30 yards, including a touchdown pass that he threw. Excuse me, that's a different drive where he threw a touchdown pass. This was the drive where he ran it in himself. 6 plays, 70 yards. They get down the field in 2 minutes and 35 seconds, and they take the lead on the Titans. And I'm sitting there in the press box, and I'm thinking, surely not. Surely not. Surely, of all the things that I've seen this football team do, surely they are not about to let the third string quarterback that they traded and would have cut had they not gotten a trade offer for him for a 7th round pick. Surely, this first drive is a fluke. And that dot that Malik Willis threw on the opening drive is a fluke. And surely they are not actually about to do this. And then the Titans march down the field with their own scoring drive, 10 plays, 70 yards. Levis hits Nick Vannett, the tight end, for a 1-yard touchdown pass in the back of the end zone. I said, okay, at least if the defense is not going to have a day, the offense is going to find ways to make plays. That was a clean and well-executed drive. They did have a few miscommunications on that initial drive, but for the most part, looked crisp, looked clean. Levis settled in. Protection not ideal, but not horrifying the way that it ended up being throughout the course of the game. And then things spiraled the way that it did. Narveson takes the 10-7 lead with a 21-yard field goal. Then the interception, the pick six, Jair Alexander, his first career pick six, a 35-yard return to the end zone, and it breaks the game open. Titans are trailing by 10 in the first quarter as time, not quite as time expires, but with less than a minute left on the clock is when Alexander scores that pick six. Titans never get it together after that. It's until the third quarter where DeAndre Hopkins scores that touchdown, a touchdown that's just a grown-ass man touchdown. I don't know how he got in. He was like at the 3-yard line when they first made contact and somehow wiggled his way into the end zone. DeAndre Hopkins looking like the all-pro wide receiver that should be more involved in this offense pending his health. So DeAndre Hopkins helps them at least try and claw back into this thing, but they've got nothing going. They give up 8 sacks. Will Levis is not the problem. Even though you look at the box score today, you see 2 interceptions and a lost fumble. You say, oh, Levis did the thing again. Oh, terrible play by Levis, all these different things. And I'm not sitting here going, I'm not going to overwhelmingly cape up for a quarterback that has 7 turnovers unto himself through 3 games. That is a hideous amount of turnovers. They came into the game with the league worst turnover differential, damn sure. And that is going to be the league worst turnover differential come Tuesday morning, pending the results of Monday Night Football, because we have a Monday Night Football doubleheader between 4 teams. By the way, there are 2 teams who have yet to play a game who are also winless on the season, the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Cincinnati Bengals. Those are the only 2 teams who don't have a win on the season after today. The Giants won today. The Ravens won today. In fact, I have the entirety of the list. The Panthers scored 36 points in a win today. Andy Dalton became the first quarterback of the season to have 300-plus yards and 3 touchdowns passing in this NFL season. Even the godforsaken Panthers got off the mat today in a way that the Tennessee Titans were incapable of doing. So many teams got out of Ravens, Giants, Colts, Broncos, Panthers, and Rams all managed to get out of the winless column today. Bengals and Jags are the only teams without a win on the season, and they play the Monday night doubleheader. Bengals have the Commies at home, and the Jags, are they hosting the Bills or are they at Buffalo? Jags are at the 2-0 Bills right now. So there is the potential that the Tennessee Titans could be the only winless team after 3 weeks, depending on how those 2 games go. And I don't think the Jags are going to go to Buffalo win, and I would be shocked if the Commies beat the Bengals. But this is a down tremendous situation. So here's the question that I'm going to ask you on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. It's your Two Rivers Ford Take. What was your first reaction? What was your initial reaction to the Titans getting embarrassed by Malik Willis at Nissan Stadium today? Give me one word to describe how you felt about the loss. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch. We'll discuss at length together. You'll hear from Brian Callahan. You'll hear from this godforsaken offensive line as well, at least 2 of the members who struggled significantly today, and one who got benched He was so bad in this game. It's your Two Rivers Ford take. As always, it's presented by the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Two Rivers Ford, quality American-made Ford vehicles and award-winning customer service. Go to Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet, where you will experience the fastest and most fun car buying process. No matter how you like to shop, Two Rivers Ford always puts you in the driver's seat and puts you in position to get the vehicle that makes the most sense for your family's budget and for your needs. TwoRiversFord.com for more information. All right. So, what is the one word you would use to describe the Titans getting embarrassed by Malik Willis today? Perhaps embarrassed is the word. Bert is telling me that I sound like shit. I think it's because I've got my AirPods in. Let me see if I can rectify that. Does that sound better, Bert? Does that make any difference at all? Okay, sounds like that's significantly better. So I apologize for doing that with my AirPods instead of my mic. I forgot I had my AirPods in. Either way, so what is one word to describe this feeling, whatever emotion that you are feeling with this football team right now? Kevin Petway says tank 3 weeks into the season. That's good to see before we even get out of the month of September. Tanking for whom? Who are you tanking for at this point? Witty Banter 96 just says September. I'm not sure whether that's a good thing, whether that's a bad thing, whether you're preaching patience at that point, or whether you're saying that they are over and done with already in September, because I think that is a reasonable concern at this point. Nauseous for Jeff Haynes. Deserving, says Proud Gorilla. He thinks that they deserve the suffering that they have gotten, that they have made through this point. Jared Hutchinson doesn't use one word, but he says Vrabel would have got a win this season. I'm going to give you a crazy, it's not a stat, but it's a fact, okay? It's a fact, not a stat. Do you know how many coaches this franchise has had in its existence? Well, let's say in the Titans era. In the Titans era, do you know how many, since 1999, how many coaches have the Tennessee Titans, as we've come to know them, had in their franchise's existence? Well, I can list all of them for you now. Jeff Fisher, to Mike Munchak, to Ken Wisenhunt, to Mike Mularkey, to Mike Vrabel, to Brian Callahan. 6 coaches in the Titans era of football. Do you know the last time that a coach for this Tennessee Titans franchise in the Titans era of football, do you know the last time that any of those 6 coaches started 0-3? 2009. That means that Munchak, Wisenhunt, who was awful, Munchak, Wisenhunt, Mularkey, and Vrabel all completed their entire tenures here, no matter how long or short those tenures were. All four of the 6 coaches that you've had in Titans era football have not started a season 0-3. Maybe they started a season 1-2. Maybe they started a season 2-1. I don't know if any of them started the season. I think the 2020 team started the season 3-0 under Vrabel, when they set all kind of statistical and scoring records for a Titans era offense. 4 of the 6 coaches in the history of this franchise have not started 0-3. Brian Callahan is the first since 8-8, 2009 Jeff Fisher, where the only highlight of that season was 1, you didn't finish in last place. You finished in 3rd in the AFC South. And 2, you had CJ2K. At least you had the 2,000-yard season for CJ2K. This team does not have anything close to that to hang their hat on right now. I don't know that that's a Brian Callahan problem. I don't think he's faultless in the way that this has happened. You have to be really, really bad in today's NFL. Again, the Carolina Panthers scored 36 points en route to winning a football game. The Tennessee Titans have not scored anywhere close, have not scored 30 or more points in a football game in 38 straight games. 38. January of 22 in the 2021 season is the last time that this franchise scored 30 points or more in a game. 34-3. I was there. I covered that Dolphins game. The Dolphins had won 9 in a row. They came into Nashville in the freezing cold. They got smacked 34-3. Brian Flores was still the coach. I was there. I know. I witnessed it. I saw them with my own eyes score 30-plus points. It is not yet over 1,000 days, but it soon will be, because they missed their opportunity today it will be over 1,000 days by the time this football team next takes the field against the Miami Dolphins on Monday night, where they will have gone over 1,000 days without scoring 30 or more points in a football game. It's crazy. It's crazy. Malik Willis. I know they didn't score 30 points as an offense because they got a pick six, but 23. Titans haven't scored 23 yet this season. Are you kidding me? They scored 14 today. 3 points under their average. They're now scoring 16 points a game through the first 3 weeks. Guys, I don't know what to tell you at this point. I came in here last week offering to give you a digital hug because I felt so bad for you. Now I don't even know what to tell you. Here's the problem with this, and I saw Austin Stanley make this point. I'm sure he'll make this point tomorrow morning as well, so I don't want to steal his thunder because it was a good point that he made. But we are at September 22nd. We are 3 weeks into the NFL regular season, and already the Titans are giving fans no reason to show up or participate or have any interest in them as a professional football franchise. Week 3, you're already giving people an excuse to do something else with their Sunday. It's complete and utter nonsense. It's a disaster. And much less to lose to Malik Willis. To lose to Malik Willis. To his credit, I genuinely, and I know some Titans fans who are feeling a bit spiteful may say, I'm happy for Malik Willis. I'm happy he beat the Titans today. No, you're not. No, you're not really. You're not really happy that he beat the Titans today. You're not happy that your football team floundered about and embarrassed itself and failed in basically every phase of the game against a quarterback who could not do anything, who could not function, who got benched for Josh Dobbs. By the way, you want to hear something else that'll make you sick to your stomach? Malik Willis has as many wins as a starting NFL quarterback now as does Will Levis. But it's utterly unthinkable that this is the state that this franchise finds itself in. Malik Willis has 3 career wins as a starting NFL quarterback. Will Levis has 3 career wins as a starting NFL quarterback. And it's not, again, I'm not putting it on Levis today. I'm not putting it on Levis today. He has his problems, the interception. He just didn't see Jair Alexander, but it's not on Will Levis today. I won't hear it. I won't have it. And the bigger problem is that everything else went to shit. When you got a good enough Levis performance, and I know, again, 2 interceptions and a fumble lost, 3 straight games with a fumble lost, you're going to look at that and say, well, Levis isn't the problem. Levis can't get it done, all these other things. Yeah, the interception to Jair Alexander, just a good play by the defensive back. The second interception is just a desperation heave. He's not, the game is out of hand. He's just trying to get an explosive play. And the strip sack, Nick Petit-Frere, where is your pride? Where is this fight that you spent all week telling us about in the locker room? Where is this anger, this dog in you that you said that you were going to summon up en route to going out there and proving that you were capable of being this team's starting right tackle? Dusted today by number 55, who shed him like it was watching a professional athlete throw a 3-year-old is what it looked like. NPF was shed and on all fours in 2 seconds en route to Levis getting strip sacked. It is one of the most pitiful performances that I've ever seen. And up to that point, he wasn't even that bad. He got benched, though. He got benched for Jalen Duncan. And now you have an open competition at right tackle again because this team is so that's the thing that pisses me off the most, that you are threatening me not only with having the season done on September 27th, or September 22nd, not even 27th. On September 22nd, you are threatening me with another offseason of talking about a tackle as a top draft pick, and I won't have it. I won't have it. I can't deal with it. I can't, my mental state. I will need to see the same sports psychologist that Will Levis, not that Will Levis is seeing a sports psychologist right now, but he may benefit from one, because this team is going to mentally break him the way that it is mentally taxing you, me, and everybody else in between. This was the worst offensive line in football as far as pressures go coming into today. And they gave up 8 sacks.
12 on the season through 3 games. Again, every time, and I'm not doing this to depress you or to make you angry or whatever. I'm just giving you the straight facts on what your football team is right now. And at some point, Rand Carthon is going to be held accountable for this because Mike Vrabel, the boogie monster or the boogeymen are no longer here for you to blame. John Robinson is long gone. Mike Vrabel is long gone. Ryan Tannehill is long gone. You don't get to point the fingers at them anymore because these people are no longer associated with why you're losing football games. It's Rand Carthon, it's Brian Callahan, it's Will Levis, and it's the rest of the parts and pieces that you told me were going to be different this time. And I'm not saying that it wasn't the right decision to fire Mike Vrabel or whatever. You were looking for a better situation, a more viable offense in an AFC that you have to be able to keep up in this arms race. You spent more money in free agency than any other team. You went out and found viable pieces and parts from other places to come in here and improve your football team. And through the first 3 weeks, you cannot put it together. And that has to drive you batshit crazy. Absolutely batshit crazy based on how this thing has gone. A to Z Sports Prime Time is presented by TrueMath Fitness in the Gulch. Go to TrueMathFitness.com. Your first workout free. Maybe you need to work off your frustration, your irritation with the Titans and your favorite football team. Or maybe you're just happy that the Vols won in Oklahoma and you're tired of the Titans already at 0-3. Whatever your motivations are, if you're looking to get in better shape, if you're looking to improve your physical fitness, your conditioning, you're just looking to improve your health, TrueMath Fitness always has the best workouts for you. No workout ever recycled or repeated. Go to TrueMathFitness.com for more information. Your first workout is free as a Middle Tennessee resident. So, Brian Callahan speaking after the loss today about his football team and the direction that they're headed, because the direction that they're headed is a really, really bad one if they don't figure something out right quick.
Injury-wise, only one was Cheeto. He left with a groin, did not return. So we'll see what that looks like next week. At the end of the day, I've not done a good enough job. We're an 0-3 football team. I'm an 0-3 head coach. It's embarrassing and disappointing. I've got to be a lot better than I've been, and this is frustrating and unfortunate and not what I thought we were capable of to start the season. And at the end of the day, can't continue to have turnovers like that on offense, even though we had 7 more points to another team, and they did a great job possessing the football. We only got 3 possessions in the first half, and we scored on one of them. We threw an interception for pick 6 on the other, and the other 2 we went 3 and out. And we're not consistent enough anywhere offensively. We allowed too many explosives on defense. We still haven't got a turnover. I think we're probably going to be dead last in the turnover margin by a long shot at this point, and that's going to lose you a lot of football games in the NFL. We're not good enough on either side there. We don't protect it well. We don't take it away. We had too many yards rushing. We had some tackling issues early. We settled down, and then had to get in a drop back situation at the end of the game in the second half, as we didn't find much success on the ground versus a good front, and 8 sacks was a result. So ultimately, not good enough anywhere.
So Petit-Frere was not injury related?
It was not.
So that's Brian Callahan speaking about the state of his football team, 0-3 as a head coach, the first Titans head coach to start a season 0-3 since 2009. Jeff Fisher's second to last year as the head coach of this team. Jonathan Ertl says, why can't the defense get any turnovers? Well, today they just couldn't get off the field. I mean, today it wasn't even like they were in position to create turnovers. Matt LaFleur, if Matt LaFleur doesn't win Coach of the Year for the job that he's done, it's not just because Malik Willis, and I saw Malik Willis as a football player here. It did not look like that. I also didn't see wide open wide receivers and great opportunities, layup throws for Malik Willis to make, which means the coaching staff did an excellent job of putting him in position to succeed. And you know what? Malik Willis did an excellent job of executing. He executed you. Again, let me read you his stat line, because this stat line is unthinkable. Unthinkable to me. Malik Willis through 2 games is completing 85% of his passes. And it's not like he's just dinking and dunking. Today they came out with the intent. Josh Jacobs didn't beat you. Malik Willis did. And that was the whole thing. You thought that if you could put Malik Willis, if you could put the onus on Malik Willis, that he would go out there and make mistakes. And honestly, I would have seen it as a sound game plan, except the Packers had a better one. They came out there and whooped you. 13 of 19 today from Malik Willis through the air, 202 yards, career high, and a touchdown pass. He had a long pass of 37 yards. He had 120.9 quarterback rating. He also was their leading rusher. He killed you on the ground, 6 carries for 73 yards. He averaged 12.2 yards per scramble in a long of 29. He had the rushing touchdown on the opening possession of the Packers. It was a masterclass in coaching and execution. And on the opposite side, it was anything but. Levis finishes the game 26 of 34, 260, sacked eight times, which is double the amount that you had coming into this game. You have given up 4 sacks total in 2 games coming into this one. You gave up 8 today for losses of 56 yards. Will Levis had 2 touchdown passes. He also had the 2 interceptions and lost a fumble. Will Levis has had 7 turnovers, two credited to him, even though they're not all on him. 7 turnovers through 3 games is not a situation that you can survive. Not a situation that you can survive. It is absolutely ridiculous that this is the kind of embarrassment that this team suffered at the hands of a player that should not have been able to beat you that way. And he went out there and beat you soundly. Again, to Malik Willis's credit. You'll hear from Matt LaFleur, by the way, at the end of the show. He made a comment today that made me laugh out loud at a post-game press conference because, not to further pile on Titans fans, man, but this is a sorry state of affairs. Troy Spinagle says, did Big Jeff play today? Yeah, man. Jeff had another bad penalty. It was on the field goal try. He set them up for another score. This was a second straight week where a Jeff Simmons penalty led directly to points. Was going to hold them to a field goal. He committed a holding penalty, I believe was the call, on Jeff Simmons because of the way that he yanked the guy down, I guess, on the field goal. I haven't seen the TV copy yet. I just saw from my vantage point in the press box. So then he gets the fresh set of downs for the Packers. They go on to score another touchdown. And listen, Jeff's defensive play has not been the issue, but the penalties, those 2 penalties in critical moments are killer. Absolutely killer. Absolutely killer. Josh Roca says, Buck, you said you weren't going to be here. I'm here. Listen, I have no choice. I signed a 4-year deal in March. The joke's on me. I signed up for more of this punishment willingly. But yeah, I am contractually obligated to be here on this show 4 nights a week for you, talking Titans, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday for the foreseeable future. And it is a decision that I am somewhat regretting at this point in my life, but it's okay. We're going to get you through it. Big Jeff is not having the statistical impact that I know fans want him to, and the penalties are killer. This is something that I think when you look at what it is that the Titans were doing, they were leaning on their defense because the defense was the best thing that they had going. They were allowing fewer yards than anybody in the sport coming into today. That was not the case. The Packers put up over 300 yards of total offense. In fact, they had 378 total net yards of offense. They ran 59 plays. They gained an average of 6.4 yards per play, and they converted third downs at not an overwhelmingly great rate. They were 5 of 14, but even still, the fact that you got them off the field on third down as often as you did and could not turn that into points is an indictment of the Titans today. So there's a lot of this stuff. There's a lot of this stuff that's problematic. Devin Mills says, Buck looks 40 and acts 60. I love it. Listen, I'm only 31, which makes it even worse. Your football team is literally aging me. You know how much money I'm having to dump into my face to make sure that it doesn't age me even more? And I've been 75 my entire life, so you already got it off a little bit. It's bad. It's bad news Bears. It's bad news Bears at this point. When's the last time the Titans scored over 17? I believe they scored over 17 in the regular season finale last year against the Jags, but you'd have to fact check me on that one. I don't think that was as low scoring. I think they at least eclipsed the 20-point mark. But again, 14 points today, 2 games where they've scored 17. They are down to an average of 16 points at this point in time. It is absolutely brutal. And says, how's your blood pressure? Oh, I told you I was going to do this. I told you I was going to do this last week. I told you I was going to put my blood pressure monitor on. and we could see what it did to me in real time. I believe it's downstairs. I forgot about that bit. I forgot. It's just I don't know if you would want to know what my blood pressure was, but certainly I could tell you it was sky high throughout the course of that game. Titans football appears to be bad for your health on a regular basis. Titan Kong says, I wanted this win so bad, Buck. Well, it's just a win. You wanted to win. Of course you wanted to win. And more importantly, you wanted to not get embarrassed. And this was a humiliation. This was a humiliation today at the hands of the last person that you thought was capable of humiliating you. And truly, I underestimated Malik Willis. Joke's on me. Joke is absolutely on me. Joke is on them if they underestimated Malik Willis. Joshua Mullen says, Buck, what do you think is the most telling stat from the first 3 games? Ooh, that's a good question. It's probably the turnover stat. Tehran had something from ESPN Stats and Info related to Levis and the rate that he is turning the football over. I will see if I can effort that tweet for you because it is pretty shocking. He has had 7 total turnovers through these first 3 games. It is at a rate that is much higher than your average NFL quarterback. Okay, here it is. Will Levis's 7 turnovers this season, so that's 4 interceptions and 3 fumbles lost, 1 in each game, are the most by any quarterback through his first 3 games in the last 3 seasons. The last quarterbacks to have had as many or more through 3 games came in 2021, which was, if I'm not mistaken, Urban Meyer, Trevor Lawrence? Trevor Lawrence had 9 turnovers, 7 picks, and 2 fumbles lost in his first 3 games in 2021. Zach Wilson also had 7 turnovers, 7 interceptions in his first 3 games in 2021. So that's the kind of company that Levis is keeping. That almost he had 3 more turnovers today, so I can't tell you that it's not on the quarterback. But today, I mean, if you guys watch this game, you know this game was not on this quarterback. It was on the protection, and it was on the fact that they can't tackle. They couldn't tackle today. All of a sudden, the defense just they can't stop a nosebleed against Malik Willis, which is crazy. They weren't prepared for Malik Willis to run the football. They were seeing some looks from the Packers defense that they hadn't seen on tape. Okay, that's fine, but that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me that they could not have been prepared for it. Now, the one person that you clearly set out to not beat you was Josh Jacobs, and even he ended up getting 14 carries for 43 yards. It's a 3.1 average. I know that he didn't go crazy on him the way that he did the Colts, but like Willis had 73 yards. Wilson had 50 yards on the ground. Jaden Reed had 19 yards, and some guy named Brooks had 3 carries for 3 yards for a total of 37 carries, 188 yards on the ground, 5.1 average, and a touchdown to Malik Willis on the ground. It's crazy, but that is probably the most telling stat that Levis's turnover. It's the turnover differential. The defense does not create turnovers yet. When it's going to happen, I can't tell you. They finished second to last in turnover differential last year, but that was, I was told that when Mike Vrabel went away that the defense, that they would stop, that the corners would stop playing 5 yards off the ball, which, by the way, they have, and that things would get better. And yet this is a team that through 3 games does not have a turnover to its name. They have 1 turnover. I lied. They have 1 turnover on special teams. They have a quarterback who's given up the ball 7 times, and they have a defense that to themselves have forced no turnovers whatsoever. It is a mess. So the question, who do you blame the most? Let's play the blame game. Who do you blame the most for the Titans' embarrassment at the hands of Malik Willis and the Green Bay Packers? Who are you placing this blame at the feet of? You'll hear from Matt LaFleur here in just a second. You'll also hear from the offensive line momentarily, right after I remind you that the Primetime program is presented by the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. Go to GaryAshton.com. Get your dream address without the stress. The intel edge you need to succeed can be found at GaryAshton.com, the official real estate agent of the Nashville Predators. I'm sure Gary's happy he's no longer the official real estate agent of the Titans. He gave that up a couple of years ago, and that seems to be one of the better decisions that he's made in recent memory because, that's the thing that's honestly the thing that would piss me off the most. And it bothers me too, obviously, but I don't feel that same visceral emotion that you do when you root for this football team, and it's my job to cover them, right? But that's the thing that would piss me off the most is they sold you fresh start, right? They sold you points. They sold you passing. They sold you quarterback guru. They sold you offensive line Jesus in Bill Callahan. They sold you all these things. They put it together in a pretty marketing package. They put together all kinds of hype videos with Jelly Roll in them, all kinds of lovely, sparklers and spirit fingers and all this other stuff, right? Because they're trying to sell PSLs and season tickets in their brand new shiny stadium three seasons from now, because there's obviously a lot of financial investment. And it's, by the way, it's their job. That's absolutely what they should have done. I'm not knocking them because they marketed a team that couldn't win. But it is easy to point at them now and say, well, the team, the actual football needs to be as good as the team's marketing plan is, because this is not a product that you should spend money on. Again, you are 3 weeks into the regular season, and we are talking about Titans fans in all likelihood looking for something else to do on Sunday other than go waste their time with that. It was all Green Bay Packers fans by the fourth quarter. Green Bay Packers fans took over that stadium today. It was probably about a 60-40 split anyway. And it was a hot day. I don't blame. Again, I don't bash fans for not going to games. I never will, because I don't pay to go. I don't pay for parking. I don't pay for the food. I sit there. It's a part of. I get paid to do these things, so I'm not going to bash you if you don't spend your hard-earned money to go out there and do whatever, whether they're good or whether they're bad. I'm never gonna knock you for doing what you want to do with your own disposable income. But I'll tell you damn sure that they are not going to help themselves, that they have not helped themselves in trying to get people to stay invested in this product, because the product on the field is dog shit through 3 games, and they cannot continue to sell it like it is something of consequence. They cannot continue to sell you with these hype videos. They cannot continue to sell you with all the promises of a bright, shiny new stadium and all these other things, because it doesn't matter, because they don't win. All of it is justified if you win football games. And it's not even that they're not even close. They're not even close today. It's as far away as they felt from being a meaningfully competitive football team. And I was told that for the amount of money that you spent and for the amount of people that you fired and the amount of parts and pieces that you turned over, that this would be a markedly changed and transformed franchise. And what is it? It's not even 17 points per game today. It's 14. And you're languishing around. You're getting a quarterback killed because the offensive line can't hold up in pass protection. And again, you're threatening me with the idea of talking about another offseason where you're going to have to draft a tackle with a top pick. It has to be genuinely embarrassing at this point. I feel for you guys. Truly, I don't. Or truly, I do. Defense was good in the first 2 games. I agree. They were good, but not today. Not when they had to be. They had to be excellent today, and they were anything but. They let Malik Willis walk all over them. Rhett says firing Vrabel, who was consistent before the new stadium was finished, was a huge gamble. It's not even to me about firing Mike. Mike Vrabel has nothing to do with you anymore. It doesn't matter anymore. Okay? Like, Vrabel is gone. Whether you liked him, whether you didn't like him, whether you wanted him fired, whether you didn't want him fired. You fired Mike Vrabel. Okay, that's fine. Live with your decisions. Now, the decisions that you've made after the fact, did it feel like they were checking the right boxes? Absolutely in the offseason. You went out and hired a quarterback-specific head coach who is an offensive coordinator. You hired him to be your head coach, so you can't get him hired out from under you the way that the last 2, Matt LaFleur and Arthur Smith, the way that the last 2 quality offensive coordinators were hired out from under you to be head coaches. So you're going to get the continuity with Brian Callahan, right? Like, in theory, it all makes sense. I'm not bashing them for that. I'm bashing them because they haven't been able to figure it out, and the Carolina Panthers can figure it out, and the New York Giants can figure it out. The Denver Broncos can figure it out, and this godforsaken football team can't get off the mat, much less score more than 2 touchdowns in a football game. It is an embarrassment, an absolute embarrassment. Paige Husky says, how will they pay for a stadium when nobody wants to spend their hard-earned money? The stadium's paid for, baby. You greenlit that. That money's gone. That money's already gone. And yeah, the team's on the hook for any overruns, but whatever the case may be, that money's spent. You're getting a new stadium, whether the football team deserves it or not. Jackie says, can we petition the team to be sold to someone competent owning a sports franchise? I'd rather have Haslam right now. Well, no, you wouldn't, because then you'd be the Browns, who lost today again because Deshaun Watson is horrendous. So just remember, as bad as it feels, it could always be worse, because you could be the Jags, who are paying Trevor Lawrence $55 million a year to be dog shit. You could be the Browns, who are on the hook for $250 million guaranteed and no end in sight to the Deshaun Watson experience. Zach Garinger says 14-3. Buck, let's calm down a little. What is 14-3? I don't know what 14-3 is. You're going to have to expand. And perhaps I missed something, because the comments are scrolling fast and furiously. So, who do you place the blame at the feet of the most? Mike Vrabel's burner says, we're here to talk about why the team sucks. It's because they fired Vrabel, so get used to it. I don't think it's – listen, Mike's time here came to an end. All right, whether he could have done as good, if not better, than Brian Callahan with the amount of money that they spent in the offseason and the draft picks that they had, I don't know the answer to the question. It's a hypothetical. There's no way for me to determine that. All I know is that firing Mike Vrabel was not the root of your issues. It did not spare you any of this bad football. And it's an easy thing to go back and say, well, then they shouldn't have gotten rid of the guy that was good when he was here. Well, Mike had his struggles too, right? Mike won precious little at the end of his tenure. And again, the roster was poor and all these different things. And Mike Vrabel is not as bad as the end of his tenure here was. I truly and thoroughly believe that. But they made the changes that they did, and the results have been futility. They've been worse than futility. They are getting embarrassed. They are getting embarrassed on a regular basis. It's unthinkable to me. It's unthinkable how badly this experiment has gone. And a part of that is the offensive line. This is Peter Skoronski. I place the majority of the blame at the feet of the offensive line today, because they could, for the life of them, just not get anything done for this quarterback.
It's a good way to describe it. It's like a waterfall. It starts with our group not being efficient and not going 3 and out, giving them the ball back, giving them chances to score, and that starts with the run game and not being efficient there, and then getting behind the sticks and getting in those third and long, those pass down situations. And then when we get in those situations, we still got to block. You can't just say, oh, well, these situations suck. We deserve every bit of shit that's coming towards us, and there'll be a lot of it. And we're not going to point fingers around anywhere. It's this 5, and we've got to be better. And that's that. 8 sacks is never, ever, ever excusable in any sense of the word. So we're going to be better.
That was a fire alarm, by the way, going off in the background. We'll get to more funny things around the fire alarm at Nissan Stadium, which, by the way, it's like the season where the field caught on fire for the home opener when you were retiring Eddie George and Steve McNair's jersey. Speaking of humiliating moments in Titans franchise history, that was what, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago? I can't remember. 5 years ago. In fact, the anniversary was not this Sunday, but the past Sunday. 5 years since the field caught on fire, and the Tennessee Titans got pyrotechnics banned league-wide. By the way, the fireworks in the stadium went off in the fourth quarter. They brought – I felt so bad for Derek Morgan. They brought Derek Morgan. He was their legend of the game. They brought Derek Morgan out there, the former first-round pick. And so for the legend of the game, if you guys haven't been to a Titans game in a while, you haven't seen how these things work, they bring the Titans legend of the game out in the fourth quarter to get on the mic, 1, 2, 3, tighten up, everybody say it with me, whatever, and to get the crowd back into the game. Well, by the fourth quarter, what had happened? This game was well out of hand. They brought Derek Morgan out to a sea of Packers fans. He's yelling, tighten up on 3, 1, 2, 3, and all he gets in response is, go, Pack, go. Go, Pack, go. Humiliating. And then on top of that, somebody in the stadium, I need an answer to that question. Who the hell set off the fireworks in the fourth quarter from the Jumbotron? Because it was a comedy of errors, and it summarized the day, summarized their futility perfectly today. So the fire alarm was perfect, says Mr. Jack 10 Boy on YouTube. Oh, no, wait. I've got even better. You want to know perfect? I've got a perfect fire alarm thing for you at the end of the show. Don't you worry. I've saved that for our Sunday fun day, even though it's going to make you laugh. I don't know if it's going to make you feel good, but it's going to make you laugh at the end of the show. Speaking of bad offensive line play, NPF got benched. Here's Nick.
Like, why is that happening differently?
No, I mean, that's the big question. I mean, I'm trying to figure out why as well. So obviously I haven't figured that out yet. This week is a lot of soul searching for me to figure out why. I did have moments in camp where I was growing and improving, and I was hoping that towards going into the season I would feel the same way, but that hasn't connected yet, so we've got to find a way.
If you look outside of just yourself to the entire unit, 8 sacks allowed for you guys, what do you feel like is going wrong for the group as a whole that has not been able to protect Will up to this point in the season?
I mean, I'm not doing my job. That's what I'm going to say about the group of the unit, is that I'm not doing my job, so it's not helping Dylan, and then it's not helping Cush, and it's not helping Pete, and it's not helping JC. Although we're O-line, we're a team, I need to be accountable for myself and do my job. And I feel like that's something that's hurting us. So I take full accountability. I know a lot of people say that O-line's all 5 and whatever, but there comes a point where you have to take accountability for yourself and what you do and what you're producing, and I take accountability, and I think it's not good enough. It's bad, and I need to figure out why that's bad and what to do to fix it.
I mean, I genuinely don't know what else he's supposed to say. Like, he's saying all the right things, right? He's accountable. He's going to work to get better. All these different things. He was telling us in the locker room, I got to go out there and fight for it. Okay, that's great. And then they give up 8 sacks, and the right side looks terrible, and he gets dusted on the strip sack that essentially ends the game. And they put in Jalen Duncan, who's not any better. If Jalen Duncan was better, he would have beat Nick Petit-Frere out for the job. That's the daunting part, right? Blaine Bishop said this on the pregame show with me and Brad Hopkins this morning in the second hour. You don't have another 5-star lineman that you can roll off the line if the starter is not sufficient, right? This isn't college football. You can't platoon this way. You can't roll them off a conveyor belt the way that a lot of these top-end college programs can. You have one of these dudes, and he's not good enough. And Jalen Duncan is not good enough. And Jalen Duncan came in there and had the exact same issues. He didn't get beat as soundly or as obviously as NPF did, but he was not good by any stretch of the imagination. And I would not expect him to be any better if he got more run. Brian Callahan said that right tackle job is anything but solidified at this point. So they're going to see, I guess, what Duncan has. But the end of the line, speaking of John Robinson, here, I'll let you blame John Robinson again real quick. Speaking of the end of the line for a lot of J-Rob draft picks, it is getting early, very, very late. Or it's getting late, very, very early for Traylon Burks, who had a hideous drop today and who cannot be trusted or relied upon, and NPF, who was he was fine in the first half, and then it was a snowball effect. They got killed. They got killed. They got absolutely killed by this Packers front, who we knew was good. We knew the Packers front was good. I just thought the Titans would be able to run the football. They got absolutely nothing done on the ground. They had 33 yards. They averaged 3 yards a carry, 11 attempts. 6 for Pollard, 3 for Levis, 2 for Tajay Spears, 33 yards rushing after having 130 yards on the ground against the Jets. It was about as bad, about as many areas that they failed in as could be found. So a lot of problems to fix. Monday Night Football, you got a little extra time to get ready for it. Lucky for you, it's a Monday Night Football doubleheader. So potentially getting embarrassed on national television. The world is not going to be watching that. Instead, they will be watching the Detroit game, which I also think is on at the same time. I can't remember who the Detroit opponent is, but a 1-2 Dolphins game against an 0-3 Titans game is probably going to be the least viewed Monday Night Football broadcast in the history of television. So fortunately for the NFL, they have another game to put on up against it. You hope that you can make these improvements and go out and win a football game on the road. Again, they pulled off the improbable in Miami last year, so maybe that gives you some hope. DeAndre Hopkins starting to cycle back up. Him and Levis looked sharp in the second half. Skylar Thompson got hurt today, so I don't even know if Skylar Thompson is going to play in this game. We'll see. David Long also left the game with a hamstring injury, so you're avoiding a couple of revenge games, but you keep letting Andre Dillard and Malik Willis and Todd Downing get revenge games over you week by week by week. And it can't keep happening. It just can't. It can't. Even the bad football teams find ways to get to back asswards their way into wins. The fact that, again, the Panthers and the Giants both won and scored more than 14 points. Hell, New York, what, 21? Carolina, 36. How many did the Jets? Yeah, 21-15 is what they beat the Browns by today. 7-0 currently the Falcons over the Chiefs. I'm not watching Sunday Night Football right now. I need to focus my rage on the results of this football game. The Titans 0-3, losing 30-14 to the Green Bay Packers and Malik Willis, who diced them up. All right, Sunday Fun Day. There's no easy way for me to transition into something that might make you laugh, and this also might make you sad because it's Matt LaFleur trolling you. But it did make me laugh today, so I'm going to see if I won't put at least a sadistic smile on your face. What was the best thing that you saw in football this Sunday? Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch is where you can go to interact right after I remind you that the primetime program is presented by Zen Sports. Promo code ATOZTN gets you in on all the action, up to $100 on your no danger first wager. Terms and conditions do apply. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 plus and in the state of Tennessee to bet at Zen Sports. So you heard the fire alarm in the background of Peter Skoronski's interview. That also happened for us. I was sitting in Will Levis's press conference, but Matt LaFleur was speaking at the same time as all of this was happening, and the fire alarm also went off during Matt LaFleur's press conference today.
Happy for our guys and proud of their effort.
You mentioned how we don't get it. I don't know.
Whatever, keep going, keep firing away. They told me this city was going to burn if we came in here and won the game, so I guess it is.
You mentioned how we don't.
They told me this city was going to burn if we came here and won the game, and I guess it is. Matt LaFleur, body bag. I mean, comedically, it's just a dry, well-delivered, savage, absolutely savage line that he just, I'm sure, he wasn't taking a shot at Titans fans or whatever, but like, he's right. People said if Malik Willis came in here and won a football game and looked good doing it, then people are going to lose their shit. There's the fire alarm. The city's on fire. That I honestly wish that there was more outrage, because it's not even 0-3 is not outrage. It's apathy, right? You're going to check out on them, and that's not good for me. That's bad for business. Fortunately, I have 3 hours of radio. Where I can talk about the Tennessee Vols because they went and won a big football game in Oklahoma over the weekend, and so I can get bailed out on the radio show. But damn sure we're going to be talking Titans on primetime all year long, and they are not going to make it easy. Not going to make it easy. Reynald says, Buck, just kick us while we're down. Listen, man, I'm not kicking you while you're down. Okay. Your football team's kicking you while you're down. Don't put this on me. All right. I have no impact as to whether they win or lose a game. I don't. I know you think I do. I know some of you think I root against you. I know some of you think I'm a closet Titans fan or something like that. All these other things. No matter what you think, you cannot blame me for your football team underperforming. That is squarely at their feet. So if you feel bad today, it's because they made you feel bad today. And all I can do is tell you what I saw and who I talked to and everything that happened. And unfortunately for you, it doesn't make you feel any better. But I'm going to be here for you either way, 4 nights a week on primetime. I can get away from them on the radio show, but primetime, it's all Titans. Unfortunately for this season. We'll see. Monday Night Football. I don't know. I thought they were dead in the water when they went to Miami last year too, and they went and won a football game. So who's to say? Perhaps they pull off some magic down 0-3, but it is a sad state of affairs right now. All right, I'm going to leave you alone. I'm going to let you enjoy the rest of your night. Radio show tomorrow, 10 to 1 on 104.5 The Zone. God knows I'm going to be going scorched earth for at least a portion of it before I move on with my day and get to talk about actual winning football with the Vols. So have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
Go home! Go home! Go home! You're embarrassing Nashville! Go home!